Two new bikes, the most affordable Triumph Modern Classics, and they get a makeover of sorts for 2019. But it's more than just skin deep. The Street Twin is the entry-level model to the Triumph Bonneville family. And in just over 2 years since the new 900cc Street Twin was introduced, it has sold more than 17,000 bikes worldwide. Now, the most popular Triumph gets updated for 2019, as does its slightly brawnier and off-road ready brother, the Street Scrambler.
For 2019, Triumph has significantly updated the largest selling models in its modern classic range. That's the new 2019 Triumph Street Twin, and this one is the off-road ready Triumph Street Scrambler. And today we're riding these two in Portugal to see what exactly has changed on these two models. Of course, this one is the single largest selling model across the world and also in India. And today we're going to see what exactly has changed on these two new bikes.
For 2019, the overall silhouette of the Street Twin remains the same, but the changes are in the details. The seat padding has been increased, so it's taller in height, and the Triumph and Street Twin decals on the fuel tank and side panels are all new. The cast alloy wheels have a new design, and the suspension now gets cartridge-type front forks, which offer better damping and front-end feel. And the brakes now get BREMBO 4-piston calipers on the front wheel. But there are more changes inside the engine, with lighter components and a lighter clutch. The result is that the engine feels livelier and quicker, and it also puts out more power than before and spins to higher RPMs. On the move, the difference is apparent. And it now also gets two riding modes, road and rain, with different throttle maps as well as traction control and standard ABS. Speaking of which, the traction control can be a lifesaver.
Okay, for 2019, the Triumph Street Twin, the most popular modern classic sold worldwide and also in India, gets some major updates in the engine, in the brakes, in the suspension, and some minor cosmetic updates as well. What we can tell you for sure is that this engine feels punchier, freer, and revs right up to 7,500 RPM. The outgoing model felt a little lacking in the top end, but this one takes care of that. The engine's got some significant changes. It's got new camshafts, new dead shafts, the clutch is lighter, and it makes 18% more power. That's about 9 bhp more than the outgoing model. The torque is the same, but this one makes torque at slightly higher RPM at 3,800 RPM, and the torque curve is over a broader rev range. So this one feels punchier, freer, and more eager to go.
The Street Scrambler is the brawnier sibling and it has a slightly different stance, even when standing still. The handlebar is wider and the new cartridge-type front forks are spaced wider apart than the Street Twin. It also gets BREMBO brakes now, but the larger 19-inch front wheel with dual sport tires gives it a different personality. It's a handsome bike with the side-mounted Scrambler-style exhaust, and with the new decals, it also gets fresh appeal. The Street Scrambler shares the 900cc engine with the Street Twin, and it also gets updated with lighter components, but the Street Scrambler feels slightly different on the move, partly because of the wider handlebar and also because of the larger 19-inch front wheel. More importantly, the state of tune on the Scrambler's engine is slightly different than the Street Twin. It makes the same 80 Nm of torque, but it kicks in at lower revs, and that makes it feel slightly perkier and more eager.
So the 2019 Street Scrambler also gets the same kind of updates, same significant changes to the engine, but there's a different flavor to this one. The outgoing model, the Street Scrambler and the Street Twin, had more or less the same engine, same specifications, same state of tune. But now, of course, there was ride-by-wire earlier also. The Street Twin gets two riding modes now, rain and road, but this one gets an additional off-road riding mode. And the state of the tune on the engine is also different. Same power, about 9 bhp more at 64 bhp, but this one makes the torque slightly on the lower side. This one makes the peak torque at 3200 RPM, so it gets more punch lower in the revs, so you can do a lot of stuff off-road. And this one gets, the forks are slightly wider spaced apart, and this one gets a 19-inch front wheel. Of course, the Street Scrambler gets spoked wheels as compared to the Street Twin, which gets alloy wheels.
Overall, Triumph's entry-level modern classic models just got a lot better, with the added performance, updated suspension and brakes, and updated rider aids. For the entry-level Bonneville, the Street Twin and the Street Scrambler now boast of that extra spunk and extra features to make them even more desirable.
Now, if you're the kind of guy who wants a well-built premium bike like a Triumph Bonneville, this one, the entry-level model, will be launched in India sometime early in 2019. Of course, the prices aren't out yet, it will be announced only when they're launched, but this one makes a wholesome package now. Even if you're upgrading from a smaller bike, this one certainly has got the punch and the performance now, and the added safety net of the electronics, the riding modes, road and rain. And of course, if you're the kind of guy who wants an accessible bike, which is not very tall, not very heavy, but you want to do some off-road riding, the Street Scrambler gets better equipped now. It's got a new off-road pro mode, off-road mode, in addition to the road and rain mode. So 3 modes in all for the Street Scrambler. Of course, this one gets a spoked wheel, a larger 19-inch front wheel. The suspension is slightly set wider. So overall, if you're the kind of guy who's upgrading from a smaller bike, these two are fantastically built bikes, excellent fit and finish, and great options to buy in that segment.
The Street Twin is expected to launch in India by March or April 2019 and will be priced at around 8 lakh rupees ex-showroom. While the Street Scrambler, in all likelihood, will be priced just under 9 lakh rupees once it's launched.